Absolutely. You can bring your own architect and or designer to the interdisciplinary team as part of the schematic phase with Frazier Homes. Now, bringing your own architect does pose some risk because your architect may not understand the Frazier Homes style. Your designer may not actually be a designer, they may be a decorator. And so some of the things that they want may be a challenge to achieve. So, an example, we built a house in Lebanon, Ohio, and the architect and the designer, they wanted brick on the ceiling. This was a curved ceiling and they wanted brick on the ceiling. Well, that is a challenge to achieve when you have a radius framed ceiling with drywall, framing, all of these things, and you're applying a material like brick onto drywall. It's a very tough application. We were able to achieve it, but ideally we would like that information. We would like to know how to go about application straight away, because when you don't have that information up front, what you can expect is delays, because now we're going back to the table to engineer. Another consideration when you are talking about an architect, bringing your architect, is their level of acumen when it comes to the projects that we work on. So if you will remember, we talked about 4 different types of builders. If you have a architect that is predominantly a track style builder. So when I say track, I mean they kind of draw the same type of house over and over. You know, they might have the same foundation and then they're just building different walls on top of that foundation. Or if you have an architect who doesn't really understand the typography, what's going on in the Hillside District here in Cincinnati, Ohio, or if you want a walkout and they don't understand the typography as far as how the plot plan works. Obviously, there's going to be some partnerships with the engineers, but if they don't understand those things, Frazier could seem like an antagonist, because we're going to be pushing and asking questions that may be outside of that architect's scope. Now, Frazier always has opportunities to learn as well. So this is the reason why we do like to engage with new architects, because they're bringing new ideas that we wouldn't otherwise be privy to. So it all comes down to a healthy balance. It all comes down to proper alignment. It all comes down to having the same goal, which is wanting to manage time, wanting to manage budget, wanting to manage scope, and all of those things need to be on par with quality. So Frazier Homes, one of our operational best practices is called the triple constraint. We manage to the triple constraint. So think of a triangle, right? If the triangle, there are 3 equal parts. If the triangle gets out of whack and now you have a square or a rectangle, that means we are doing something wrong in terms of time, budget, and scope. And so before we ever dig any dirt or we move any dirt, it is our expectation that everyone that is part of these very intricate processes are working towards the triple constraint. So that means the builder, the architect, the interior designer, the homeowner, and their family, we are all on the same page that we want to manage time, scope, and budget. And that's an example of the difference.